All right, Lauren, for this first one, we're trying to find FC, and you can already see that it's 12. That's because G is our centroid, so that means these are all medians, so they're cutting the sides in half. Now, for number 4, finding BF is a little different. If you remember the 2/3, 1/3 ratio, I'm just writing out that we already know BG equals 6. BG is 2/3 of that whole median BF. So just substitute 6 for BG. So it's 6 equals 2/3 BF. And then to solve this, we multiply by the reciprocal. So this means multiply by the flipped fraction. So 6 times 3 over 2 is 18 over 2. And then 18 over 2 is just 9. So BF is 9. Now for number 5, we were given that AE is 15. That whole median is 15. AG is 2/3 of the median AE. So I'm about to write that down. So if AG is 2/3 of the whole median, then AG is 2/3 of that 15. And then to multiply, it's 30 over 3, which is just 10. Right now, I'm just going to shift up this writing so that you can see the last one for number 6. I know this is going really fast, so you need to go ahead and read the problem because I just worked them out and now I'm recording a voiceover to tell you what I was doing. But you'll have to read the problem over again because I don't think I gave myself enough time to do that. Sorry about that. All right, GE is the other part of that median that we hadn't found yet. So we know that AG equals 10. That was the last problem we did. And the whole median equals 15. So the whole thing's 15, and part of it's 10, so GE is going to be what's left, which is 5. So we're done with that first part. All right, next up is number 7, which is a multiple choice problem. I already have it drawn out. Trying to find AM. We know that it's 2/3 of AQ. We know that MQ is 1/3, so it's what's left of AQ. So MQ is 30, that was given to us. So AM is going to be twice that much, twice of 30. So if 1/3 is 30, 2/3 is going to be 60. 17, we're trying to figure out what YW is considered because we just know that it's perpendicular. All we can say is that it is an altitude. Number 18, we know that angle XYW is congruent to angle ZYW. I'm erasing that little right angle because we don't know that anymore for 18. So again, angle XYW is congruent to angle ZYW. Drawing those little angle symbols. So with that being all we know, we can only say that 18 is an angle bisector. So it cuts that angle in half. For 19, I know that segment XW is congruent to segment ZW. So with those two segments being congruent to each other, that means that my YW has only cut it in half. I don't know anything about angles. That tells me it is a median. Number 20. I know that YW hits XZ at a right angle, and XW is congruent to WZ. So this tells me it is an altitude because it is hitting it at a right angle and coming from a vertex. It is also a perpendicular bisector. Sorry, I wrote them in a different order than what I'm saying. because it hits at a perpendicular angle and cuts the side in half. It is also an angle bisector by one of the angle bisector theorems. And it is also a median because it cuts the side in half and comes from a vertex. So it's all of them. Now, number 21. I know that triangle XYW is congruent to triangle ZYW. So the two triangles that are kind of sitting back to back, I know that those two triangles are congruent. By knowing that, I can conclude that it is also all of the same segments that I just listed in number 20. It's going to be a perpendicular bisector because they form a congruent 180-degree side. So cutting that in half is going to make it 90 degrees, so it's a perpendicular bisector. It's an angle bisector because all the angles are the same. It's a median because, again, it's cut in half. And it's an altitude because it hits at a right angle. And then number 22, I know that YW is perpendicular to XZ again, so there's another right angle. And I know that XY is congruent to YZ. This tells me that it's also the same as number 20. Right, so it's hitting it at a right angle. You've got two congruent sides, so you can conclude that it's a perpendicular bisector, an angle bisector, a median, and an altitude. All right, number 33, I'm highlighting which ones we know about. So we know BD and BF. So BD is 2/3 of BF. And then I'm just going to fill in or substitute the equations. So BD is 4x plus 5, which equals 2/3 of BF, which is 9x. So the first side stays the same. I'm going to multiply 2/3 and 9, which is 18 over 3. 18 over 3 can be reduced to 6. And now I'm just going to solve like a regular equation. Subtract 4x from both sides. I'm left with 5 equals 2x. Divide by 2. And x equals 5 over 2, which is the same as 2.5. All right, switching gears. For number 34. This time I know GD is 2x minus 8, and GC, the whole median, is 3x plus 3. This time GD is less than half of GC, so it's not going to be 2/3, this time it's 1/3 of GC. So GD equals 1/3 of GC, and then substitute in your equations. So 2x minus 8 is equal to 1/3 of 3x plus 3. All right, now to solve this, the first thing I'm going to do, leave the left side alone, distribute that 1/3. So 1/3 times 3 is just 1. So 1x, and then plus 1/3 times 3 is just 1 again. Then you just solve, subtract x from both sides, add 8 to both sides, and you're left with x equals 9. Alrighty, switching gears one more time. Alright, this time we're doing 35. I have to switch this, I made a mistake. Number 35, we know that AD equals 5x, and DE equals 3x minus 2. So AD is 2/3 of the median, and DE is 1/3 of the median. That means that DE, I don't remember which way I write this, 1 second. So AD is 2/3 of AD, and DE is 1/3 of AE. So that means AD is double DE. I think that's how I solve it. So DE, oh, this is where I changed my mind. So sorry, Lauren. AD is equal to 2 DE. So it's twice as big. It's 2/3 instead of 1/3. So then just fill in the equation. So 5x equals 2 times 3x minus 2. Distribute that 2, so 6x and minus 4. Subtract 6x from both sides. You're left with negative 1x equals negative 4. Divide by negative 1 to get x by itself, so x equals a positive 4. And there you have it. We're all done. Sorry that last one was a little confusing. I made a mistake on which way I wanted to do it. But I love you. I hope that makes sense. And I hope you're having a great break. Bye.